Imagine waking up one morning, and your legs feel lighter, more resilient, almost as if time itself has granted them a second youth. What if I told you that there is a simple, humble grain, costing less than $1, that science shows can nourish your muscles far more effectively than even the most celebrated protein powders? Today, we are exploring not just strength, but the quiet alchemy of nutrition, biology, and age-defying care that lets our bodies remain capable even at 75. When we talk about muscle health, especially in later years, we often default to the familiar image of protein shakes and powders, the glossy, marketed solutions that promise rapid gains. Yet the human body is not a machine that responds only to immediate influxes of amino acids. It is a living ecosystem, a network of fibers, capillaries, enzymes, and cellular signals that communicate constantly. In this context, the quality of protein we consume is not measured merely by grams per serving, but by the complexity, bioavailability, and balance of the amino acids it provides. The humble grain we are discussing today presents a remarkable example of this principle, a natural source of complete protein that engages with the body's physiology in a way that processed powders cannot. Unlike whey, which delivers a rapid surge of amino acids that may overwhelm absorption pathways and create transient spikes in circulation, this grain provides a steady, gradual release. This slow assimilation is critical for older adults because aging muscles exhibit a phenomenon known as anabolic resistance. Over time, muscle cells become less responsive to sudden, high doses of protein, making them more reliant on consistent, prolonged availability of essential nutrients. The grain's amino acids are distributed in a manner that mirrors the body's natural rhythms, reaching muscle tissue steadily and allowing the fibers to repair microties, maintain elasticity, and strengthen gradually with repeated movement and exercise. Beyond the sheer quantity of protein, the composition of amino acids is key. Essential amino acids like leucine, isoleucine, and valine act as signaling molecules as well as building blocks. Leucine, for example, activates the mTOR pathway, a cellular mechanism that regulates protein synthesis. By providing an optimal ratio of these amino acids, the grain not only supplies the raw materials for muscle repair but also stimulates the molecular processes that tell the body to grow and preserve muscle mass. This dual function of supply and signaling is what sets high-quality protein apart from inferior sources and is particularly meaningful for seniors who face gradual sarcopenia, the natural loss of muscle that accompanies aging. The consistency and balance of amino acids in the grain also reduce metabolic stress. Rapid digesting proteins, when taken in isolation, can create transient spikes in insulin and other hormones, which may be suboptimal for older adults with metabolic sensitivities. In contrast, the grain's complex matrix of proteins, fiber, and micronutrients allows the body to process amino acids efficiently, providing a gentle, sustained stimulus for muscle synthesis without overloading the metabolic system. Furthermore, the grain contains additional cofactors that support muscle health indirectly. Minerals such as magnesium and zinc, often present in naturally occurring grains, play essential roles in enzymatic reactions that drive energy metabolism, muscle contraction, and protein synthesis itself. These cofactors work synergistically with the amino acids, ensuring that the biological machinery responsible for maintaining leg strength operates with precision. It is also important to consider the structural integrity of muscle tissue. Muscle fibers are not homogeneous. They consist of slow-twitch and fast-twitch fibers, each with unique functional demands. Slow-twitch fibers sustain endurance, supporting posture and daily activities, while fast-twitch fibers provide the explosive force required for balance, climbing stairs, or rising from a chair. The slow, steady release of amino acids from this grain nourishes both fiber types in a balanced way, ensuring that seniors maintain not only endurance but also the strength needed for sudden movements, reducing the risk of falls and injuries. Beyond the cellular and metabolic dimensions, there is a profound psychological and behavioral component. When nutrition is approachable, affordable, and naturally integrated into meals, it encourages consistency over time. Supplements may be taken sporadically or abandoned due to cost, taste, or inconvenience. In contrast, a simple grain can be cooked, blended into meals, or consumed as a porridge, making it a tangible, habitual act of self-care. This regularity reinforces muscle health because the body thrives on repeated, reliable inputs rather than intermittent extremes. Moreover, the grain carries subtle phytonutrients and antioxidants that support cellular resilience. Aging muscles are exposed to oxidative stress, a process that damages proteins, lipids, and DNA, impairing the capacity for repair. Compounds naturally present in the grain help mitigate these effects, creating an internal environment where amino acids can be used efficiently for growth and maintenance rather than diverted toward repair of oxidative damage. Taken together, the grain's protein quality, its amino acid balance, its slow absorption, and its supportive cofactors converge to create a system that aligns with the body's natural biology. For a person at 75 or beyond, this alignment is not a minor advantage. It is the difference between legs that tire quickly and legs that carry you through life with strength and confidence. Each serving becomes more than nourishment. It becomes an orchestration of molecular interactions, a reinforcement of fibers that have been tested by decades of movement, and a gentle, consistent conversation between what we eat and how our muscles respond. In this sense, the $1 grain is not simply a cheaper alternative to whey protein, it is a demonstration of how thoughtful nutrition, grounded in natural composition and biological compatibility, can outperform engineered supplements. It reflects an understanding that muscle health is cumulative, responsive, and deeply intertwined with the rhythms of digestion, circulation, and cellular signaling, offering seniors a practical, scientifically grounded tool to preserve the strength and independence of their legs. As we age, our muscles encounter challenges that extend far beyond the simple loss of mass or strength. One of the most insidious of these challenges is chronic, low-grade inflammation, a subtle process that quietly erodes muscle integrity over time. Unlike the acute inflammation we feel after a sprain or bruise, this microscopic, persistent inflammation does not announce itself with pain or obvious swelling, yet its effects accumulate steadily, weakening fibers and interfering with the natural repair processes that keep muscles resilient. The $1 grain we are exploring today holds particular promise in this context because it contains bioactive compounds that act as modulators of inflammation, influencing cellular pathways that directly impact muscle health. These compounds operate at a molecular level, calming pro-inflammatory signals such as cytokines and reducing oxidative stress within muscle cells. By doing so, they create an internal environment where fibers can heal efficiently after everyday use, exercise, or even simple movements like standing or walking. The mechanism is subtle but profound. By dampening unnecessary inflammation, the body can focus its resources on maintaining strength rather than constantly responding to cellular stress, a shift that is critical for older adults who naturally experience slower recovery and higher susceptibility to muscle fatigue. Inflammation also plays a role in the accumulation of connective tissue and fibrotic changes that can stiffen muscles and limit mobility. Over decades, these microscopic changes manifest as a loss of flexibility and functional performance, making simple tasks more strenuous and reducing overall quality of life. The bioactive compounds in this grain, however, work synergistically with essential amino acids to support tissue remodeling, promoting the repair of damaged fibers without triggering excessive inflammatory responses. This dual effect, reducing inflammation while enhancing repair, is particularly meaningful because it addresses both the symptom and the cause of age-related muscle decline. Beyond the cellular scale, these anti-inflammatory properties extend to the vascular and neurological systems connected to muscle function. Healthy circulation is essential for delivering oxygen and nutrients to fibers, and chronic inflammation can compromise capillary function, reducing the efficiency of these critical supply lines. By mitigating inflammatory signals, the grain indirectly supports vascular health, ensuring that muscles receive the energy and building blocks they need for sustained activity. Simultaneously, the nervous system benefits because inflammation can interfere with signaling between motor neurons and muscle fibers, diminishing coordination and responsiveness. By calming these internal stresses, the grain fosters a more harmonious dialogue between nerves and muscles, which is essential for balance, agility, and preventing falls in older adults. The implications extend beyond physical performance to metabolic health. Muscles are primary sites for glucose uptake, and inflammation can impair this process, contributing to insulin resistance and other metabolic challenges. By supporting anti-inflammatory pathways, the grain helps maintain the muscle's ability to process energy efficiently, creating a feedback loop where active, healthy muscles contribute to better systemic metabolic function. Importantly, the anti-inflammatory effects of this grain are subtle and cumulative, rather than immediate or dramatic. This aligns with the philosophy of sustainable, age-conscious nutrition. True muscle resilience is built over time through consistent care, rather than short-lived interventions. Incorporating this grain into the diet becomes an act of mindful attention to the body's deeper needs, a practice that honors the intricate biology of aging muscles while providing practical, tangible benefits. There is also a psychological dimension to consider. Chronic inflammation often manifests as fatigue, soreness, or discomfort, which can reduce motivation to remain active. By supporting internal regulation and minimizing these invisible stresses, the grain not only strengthens muscles but also fosters a sense of physical well-being and confidence, encouraging older adults to maintain movement routines that further reinforce leg strength. Moreover, this anti-inflammatory support is complemented by the grain's natural antioxidants, which neutralize free radicals and prevent cellular damage that would otherwise exacerbate inflammation. The combination of amino acids, bioactive compounds, and antioxidants creates a multifaceted support system, targeting inflammation from multiple angles simultaneously. This holistic approach mirrors the body's own complexity, recognizing that muscle health is not determined by a single nutrient or pathway, but by the interaction of molecular, cellular, and systemic processes working in concert. As a result, even small, regular servings of this grain can have meaningful effects over weeks and months, gradually restoring the muscle's capacity to repair themselves efficiently, maintain elasticity, and respond to the stresses of daily life. In essence, the grain transforms nutrition into a subtle but powerful intervention, where the simple act of eating becomes a carefully orchestrated support for cellular resilience. For seniors seeking to maintain leg strength, balance, and functional independence, this perspective is crucial. The anti-inflammatory compounds in this grain demonstrate that aging muscles do not have to surrender passively to time. They can be nurtured, protected, and strengthened through a thoughtful alignment of diet, biology, and consistent care. Every bite becomes more than sustenance. It becomes a quiet conversation with the body, a reinforcement of its natural repair mechanisms, and a testament to the profound impact that simple, scientifically grounded choices can have on long-term muscular health. Strong legs are not built solely from muscle fibers and protein. They rely on a delicate and intricate network of blood vessels that deliver oxygen, nutrients, and signaling molecules exactly where they are needed, precisely when they are needed. As we age, the efficiency of this vascular system naturally declines. Capillaries shrink or become less flexible, arterial walls stiffen, and circulation slows, creating a subtle deficit in the delivery of essential resources to muscles. This decline can make movements feel heavier, recovery slower, and even simple daily activities more taxing. The $1 grain we are exploring plays a fascinating role in addressing this challenge because it contains compounds that support vascular health, improving microcirculation and the integrity of small blood vessels that directly nourish muscle tissue. Microcirculation is often overlooked because it operates on a scale invisible to the naked eye, yet it is critical for the health of every fiber in the leg. Each muscle cell relies on an ongoing flow of oxygen, amino acids, glucose, and other nutrients to maintain strength, repair damage, and sustain contraction. When circulation is compromised, muscles are starved at the cellular level, making them more prone to fatigue, atrophy, and injury. The bioactive components of this grain act on the endothelium, the delicate lining of capillaries and arteries, enhancing its ability to produce nitric oxide and other vasodilatory signals that widen blood vessels and promote smooth, consistent blood flow. By improving the flexibility and responsiveness of these vessels, the grain ensures that nutrients reach the deepest, most distant fibers in the leg muscles, effectively allowing every movement to be fueled efficiently. Beyond the mechanical aspect of blood flow, improved circulation also accelerates waste removal. Muscle cells generate metabolic byproducts during contraction, including lactic acid and reactive oxygen species. If these compounds accumulate, they can create fatigue, discomfort, and microscopic damage that slows recovery. Enhanced microcirculation helps flush these byproducts away quickly, reducing cellular stress and allowing muscles to function at higher capacity for longer periods. This is particularly important for older adults, whose natural decline in circulatory efficiency can compound the effects of muscle aging. The grain's compounds not only support blood flow but also modulate inflammation within the vascular system itself. Aging vessels are often inflamed at the endothelial level, impairing their ability to dilate and constrict in response to the body's needs. The anti-inflammatory properties of the grain reduce this stress, allowing vessels to maintain optimal tone and responsiveness, which directly translates into more robust, resilient leg muscles. In addition, circulation is not solely about delivering nutrients, it is about maintaining communication within the body. Blood transports signaling molecules, hormones, and growth factors that instruct muscles to grow, repair, and adapt. When circulation falters, this biochemical communication is disrupted, meaning that even adequate nutrition may not reach its intended targets effectively. By improving microcirculation, the grain ensures that amino acids, antioxidants, and other supportive nutrients are efficiently transported, synchronizing intake with the body's repair and growth mechanisms. There is also a connection between circulation and neural activation. Healthy blood flow ensures that the motor neurons controlling leg muscles receive sufficient oxygen and energy to maintain firing rates, timing, and coordination. Poor vascular health can dull these signals, resulting in slower reflexes, decreased balance, and reduced responsiveness, factors that increase the risk of falls in seniors. The grain's circulatory benefits therefore extend beyond metabolism into motor control, indirectly enhancing agility and stability by keeping both muscles and nerves nourished and functioning optimally. Moreover, the grain's effects on circulation are gentle and cumulative. Rather than forcing rapid changes, they harmonize with the body's natural rhythms, supporting gradual improvement in vascular tone, capillary density, and nutrient delivery. This subtlety is particularly valuable for older adults, whose systems are more sensitive to abrupt fluctuations in blood pressure or metabolic stress. Over time, these incremental enhancements in circulation compound, translating into noticeable improvements in leg strength, endurance, and recovery. Circulation also interacts closely with energy metabolism. Oxygen delivered through blood fuels the mitochondria, the energy-producing organelles within each muscle cell. As blood flow improves, mitochondria receive more oxygen and substrates, producing ATP more efficiently and allowing muscles to contract with greater force and sustain activity for longer periods. The grain indirectly supports this energy pathway by maintaining healthy vasculature, ensuring that the legs are powered effectively during both movement and rest. Beyond the purely physiological, there is a broader, reflective aspect to consider. Knowing that each bite of this simple, affordable grain supports the hidden infrastructure of your muscles, your vessels, capillaries, and circulatory networks, can transform a meal into an intentional act of care. It is a reminder that health is not only about visible outcomes, like bigger muscles or faster steps, but about nurturing the systems that silently sustain strength and function over decades. Each serving strengthens the legs at a foundational level, reinforcing the scaffolding that allows muscles to thrive, recover, and respond to the stresses of daily life. In this sense, the grain exemplifies the elegant interplay between nutrition and physiology, showing that simple, natural foods can support complex biological processes in ways that engineered supplements often cannot. By nourishing circulation, the grain ensures that every movement is powered, every repair process is supported, and every fiber is sustained. For seniors striving to maintain independence, mobility, and strength, this is not a trivial benefit but a transformative one, allowing the legs to remain reliable instruments of movement, confidence, and vitality as the years advance. Muscle strength is not merely a question of protein intake or circulation, it is intimately linked with how our bodies generate and utilize energy, a process that becomes increasingly complex as we age. The muscles of older adults often face subtle inefficiencies in energy metabolism, where the conversion of nutrients into usable fuel is slower, less coordinated, and less consistent. This inefficiency can make everyday movement feel exhausting, reduce stamina, and limit the effectiveness of exercise, even when nutritional intake is adequate. The $1 grain we are exploring offers a remarkable solution because it contains complex carbohydrates and natural enzymes that provide a slow, sustained release of energy, perfectly matched to the needs of aging muscle fibers. Unlike simple sugars or even some processed protein supplements, which produce rapid spikes and subsequent crashes in blood glucose, the grain ensures that energy is available steadily over time. This steady fuel allows muscles to perform prolonged contractions without premature fatigue, sustaining both endurance and functional strength. The slow release of glucose is critical because muscles rely not only on immediate energy but also on consistent availability to maintain repair processes and structural integrity. When energy is supplied too quickly, the body may store excess as fat or trigger insulin fluctuations that interfere with nutrient signaling, whereas the grain's natural matrix harmonizes with metabolic pathways, feeding both slow-twitch and fast-twitch fibers efficiently and predictably. Slow-twitch fibers, which are responsible for endurance and posture, benefit from this consistent energy because they rely heavily on aerobic metabolism, burning glucose and oxygen to sustain prolonged activity. Fast-twitch fibers, which generate sudden bursts of strength, also require adequate fuel to maintain contractile function and respond quickly to stimuli, particularly important for preventing falls and maintaining mobility. By nourishing both fiber types simultaneously, the grain helps preserve the full spectrum of muscular function, which is essential for seniors who need legs that can support not only movement but stability, balance, and responsiveness. In addition to carbohydrates, the grain contains natural enzymes that aid digestion and nutrient absorption, ensuring that the energy contained within the food is efficiently extracted and utilized by muscle cells. This enzymatic support reduces the metabolic burden on the digestive system, allowing more resources to be directed toward muscle repair and contraction rather than being lost to inefficient processing. It also facilitates the absorption of accompanying amino acids, vitamins, and minerals, creating a synergistic effect where energy and building blocks converge at the sites where they are most needed. Beyond fueling contraction, steady energy release supports mitochondrial function, the microscopic power plants of muscle cells. Mitochondria convert nutrients into ATP, the molecule that drives every muscular movement, from walking and climbing stairs to standing from a chair. Aging is associated with reduced mitochondrial efficiency, leading to earlier onset of fatigue and slower recovery after exertion. By providing a consistent supply of glucose and other substrates, the grain ensures that mitochondria can operate at peak efficiency, maintaining ATP production and allowing muscles to respond optimally to both daily activity and targeted resistance exercises. Energy availability also intersects with hormonal signaling. Muscles rely on a complex orchestra of hormones, including insulin, growth hormone, and IGF-1, to regulate growth, repair, and adaptation. Fluctuations in energy supply can disrupt this hormonal balance, reducing the effectiveness of these signals. By delivering energy gradually, the grain supports a more stable hormonal environment, enhancing the body's natural ability to preserve and build muscle even in the context of aging. The psychological and behavioral effects of sustained energy should not be overlooked. When legs feel capable and movement feels effortless, older adults are more likely to engage in regular activity, reinforcing strength, balance, and endurance in a virtuous cycle. Conversely, erratic energy levels can discourage exercise, accelerating muscle loss and functional decline. In this way, the grain indirectly fosters motivation and consistency, providing both the physiological substrate and the experimental confidence that encourages ongoing movement. Furthermore, energy metabolism is closely linked to vascular and neural function. Adequate energy ensures that the muscles, blood vessels, and nerves can operate in synchrony, coordinating contraction, oxygen delivery, and signaling with precision. The grain's contribution to stable energy supply strengthens this integration, supporting the complex interactions that allow the legs to move smoothly, respond quickly, and sustain effort without undue strain. It is also worth noting that this grain achieves these benefits without the extremes associated with some supplements or stimulants. There are no sudden surges of energy, no crashes, and no metabolic overload. Instead, the body experiences a gentle, consistent support that aligns with its natural rhythms. This subtlety is particularly important for seniors, whose systems are more sensitive to spikes in blood sugar, hormonal shifts, and oxidative stress. Over time, the cumulative effect of sustained energy availability is profound. Muscles experience fewer periods of energy deficit, recovery is more efficient, and resistance exercises become more effective because the fibers have the fuel required to adapt and grow. The grain's impact on energy metabolism is therefore not merely about performance in the moment, it is about creating the conditions for long-term resilience, endurance, and strength. Finally, the reflective dimension of this process should not be underestimated. Recognizing that each simple meal can provide the fuel that powers movement, supports cellular repair, and sustains independence transforms nutrition into a mindful practice. Eating the grain becomes an intentional act of care, a conscious contribution to the internal energy systems that allow legs to remain strong, responsive, and capable through the decades, illustrating how modest, natural foods can align seamlessly with the body's metabolic needs and the demands of aging muscles. The simplest, most profound interventions for health are often the ones that are accessible, consistent, and integrated seamlessly into daily life. While advanced supplements, high-cost powders, and specialized routines have their place, the $1 grain we are discussing exemplifies how simplicity can achieve remarkable effects. Its accessibility is not merely a matter of cost, though that alone is significant for seniors who may be managing fixed incomes or complex budgets. The grain's affordability ensures that it can be consumed regularly without hesitation, making its benefits cumulative and reliable rather than sporadic. Beyond cost, it is versatile, capable of being incorporated into meals in multiple forms, boiled, blended, toasted, or even added to soups and porridges, allowing individuals to tailor it to their taste preferences, cultural practices, and lifestyle rhythms. This versatility transforms nutrition from a chore into an act of engagement and care, a conscious participation in the maintenance of one's own body. Regular, habitual consumption is especially meaningful when it comes to muscle health in older adults. Muscles are responsive not to intermittent, extraordinary interventions but to consistent, repeated stimuli over time. When this grain is included in daily meals, it provides a dependable stream of amino acids, antioxidants, anti-inflammatory compounds, and energy substrates that interact continuously with cellular processes, ensuring that muscle fibers are nourished, repair mechanisms are supported, and energy metabolism is optimized. Consistency creates a reinforcing loop. Muscles that are supported respond better to movement, and the ability to move encourages further consumption of nourishing foods, sustaining a positive feedback cycle that promotes resilience and functional independence. Furthermore, integrating this grain into everyday life fosters mindfulness and intention. Eating becomes more than a routine act. It becomes a deliberate contribution to the body's well-being, a moment of reflection on how nutrition shapes performance, repair, and longevity. This mental and emotional engagement enhances adherence and reinforces the understanding that health is not a series of isolated events but a continuum of choices that compound over weeks, months, and years. The grain also embodies the principle of holistic support. It does not merely provide protein or energy, it offers a spectrum of nutrients, including essential amino acids, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and bioactive compounds that together create an internal environment conducive to muscle preservation, vascular integrity, and metabolic stability. This multifaceted support is particularly important for older adults, whose physiological systems have accumulated years of wear, minor injuries, and adaptive changes. By addressing multiple aspects of muscle health simultaneously, the grain acts as a stabilizing force, harmonizing repair, energy production, and inflammation regulation. There is also a subtle philosophical dimension embedded in this approach. Aging often forces a confrontation with limitations. Muscle loss, reduced endurance, and diminished mobility can create a sense of vulnerability. Yet simple, intentional nutrition demonstrates that control and agency remain possible. Each serving of the grain becomes an act of empowerment, a tangible choice to nurture the muscles that carry us, to reinforce the structures that sustain independence, and to engage with the biological processes that enable adaptation and resilience. This empowerment is further amplified by the grain's tangible effects on functionality. Seniors consuming it consistently experience improvements in leg strength, stability, and endurance, which translate directly into daily life. Rising from a chair without strain, climbing stairs with confidence, walking longer distances without fatigue. These benefits are measurable at the level of muscle fibers, cellular metabolism, and vascular function, yet they manifest in the lived experience of mobility, autonomy, and quality of life. The grain also encourages experimentation, awareness, and connection with one's body. By observing how consistent intake affects energy levels, recovery, and muscle performance, individuals develop a deeper understanding of the interplay between nutrition and physiology, fostering a reflective approach to health that transcends simple habit and enters the realm of mindful stewardship. In practical terms, the grain's inclusion is easy to sustain because it aligns with existing eating patterns and cultural habits. It does not require elaborate preparation, expensive equipment, or precise timing, making it accessible even for those with limited resources or physical constraints. Its integration into daily life thus becomes natural rather than burdensome, allowing the body to benefit continuously without disruption or stress. Over time, this consistency produces profound cumulative effects. Muscles maintain elasticity, fibers repair efficiently, energy levels remain stable, and recovery from movement or exercise becomes faster. The quiet, regular reinforcement provided by the grain contrasts sharply with the episodic impact of supplements or strenuous, irregular interventions, demonstrating that true resilience is built through repeated, thoughtful action rather than occasional extremes. Finally, there is a deeper lesson in this simplicity. The human body responds most effectively to interventions that are consistent, bioavailable, and aligned with its natural rhythms. The grain exemplifies this principle, offering a form of care that is tangible, continuous, and profoundly effective. For seniors seeking stronger legs, improved mobility, and enduring functional independence, it provides not only nutritional support but a model of how thoughtful, habitual choices can create lasting impact, blending science, practicality, and reflection into a single, transformative act of daily life.